From the Depths of the Soul, inspired by James Ellen, written and published by Audible Aria. Have you ever wondered how to make your life more joyful and peaceful? It turns out that the answer lies within you. By working on making your heart pure and taking care of your thoughts, you can transform your life into something rich, sweet, and beautiful. When we talk about making our heart pure, we're not just talking about the physical organ in our chest. We're talking about the core of who we are, the part of us that feels emotions, makes decisions, and interacts with the world around us. When our heart is pure, it means that we are kind, compassionate, and free from negative feelings like anger, jealousy, and hatred. Imagine a life where you wake up every morning feeling light and happy, where you go through your day without any trouble or fights. That's the kind of life you can have when you work on making your heart pure. When you approach every situation with love and kindness, you'll find that conflicts melt away and people are drawn to you like magnets. But how do you make your heart pure? It starts with taking care of your thoughts. Our thoughts have a powerful effect on our emotions and actions. When we think positive thoughts, we feel positive emotions, and we're more likely to act in positive ways. On the other hand, when we dwell on negative thoughts, we feel negative emotions, and our actions reflect that negativity. So, how can you cultivate positive thoughts? It's not always easy, especially when life throws challenges our way, but with practice and persistence, it's possible. Start by paying attention to the thoughts that run through your mind. When you catch yourself thinking negatively, try to replace those thoughts with something positive. Surround yourself with uplifting people and things that bring you joy. And most importantly, be gentle with yourself. It's okay to have negative thoughts from time to time, but the key is not to dwell on them. As you work on making your heart pure and taking care of your thoughts, you'll notice profound changes in your life. You'll become more noble, strong, and free. Nothing will be able to hurt you or make you upset because you'll realize that all your enemies are within your own thoughts and feelings. But you'll also find that your peace and happiness are within you as well. Confucius, a wise teacher from ancient times, once shared a powerful idea about how to make progress and be a good person. He said that the most important thing is to improve yourself. This idea might seem big and complicated, but it's actually quite simple and easy to understand. Imagine you have a garden. If you want beautiful flowers to grow, you have to take care of the soil, water the plants, and make sure they get enough sunlight. Similarly, if you want to progress in life and be a good person, you have to take care of yourself and work on becoming better every day. But what does it mean to improve yourself? It means being kinder, more patient, and more understanding. It means learning new things, developing new skills, and growing as a person. When you focus on improving yourself, you become a better friend, a better family member, and a better member of your community. And here's the best part. When you become a better person, you can help others become better too. Just like a candle can light another candle without losing any of its own light, when you improve yourself, you can inspire and uplift those around you. So, how can you work on improving yourself? It's different for everyone, but it often involves things like reading books, learning from others, and practicing kindness and compassion every day. It also means being honest with yourself, recognizing your flaws and striving to overcome them. Remember, becoming a better person isn't something that happens overnight. It's a journey, a lifelong journey, that requires patience, perseverance, and dedication. But with every step you take, you'll move closer to being the best version of yourself. If you focus on becoming better, aiming for a pure heart and a calm, wise mind, you're doing one of the most important things a person can do. And the results? They'll show in your happy, well-organized life. Have you ever noticed how life seems like a journey that unfolds from within us? It's like a story where our thoughts, born deep in our hearts, eventually shape our words, actions, and achievements. Everything we experience, from sadness to happiness, from fear to love, resides within us. Think of your heart and mind as the guardians of your life fortress. You are responsible for them, and by being vigilant, you can cultivate positive thoughts and actions that lead to enlightenment and happiness. Positive thoughts are like seeds that, when nurtured, grow into beautiful flowers. They bring brightness to our days and warmth to our interactions with others. When we fill our minds with kindness, compassion, and gratitude, we create a ripple effect of positivity that spreads to those around us. But nurturing positive thoughts isn't always easy. Just as weeds can threaten to overrun a garden, negative thoughts can creep into our minds and cloud our outlook on life. That's why it's important to be vigilant, to guard our hearts and minds against negativity, and to cultivate positivity instead. One way to nurture positive thoughts is by practicing mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of being present in the moment, observing our thoughts and feelings without judgment. By taking the time to pause and reflect, we can become more aware of the patterns of our thinking and make conscious choices to steer our minds toward positivity. Another way to nurture positive thoughts is by surrounding ourselves with uplifting influences. Whether it's spending time with supportive friends and family, reading inspiring books, or engaging in activities that bring us joy, surrounding ourselves with positivity can help us maintain a bright outlook on life. Have you ever felt lost or unhappy? Sometimes it's because we forget to pay attention to our inner world, the thoughts and feelings that live inside us. Ignoring our inner selves can lead to confusion and suffering. But there's good news. We have the power to change that. When we understand the strength of our minds, we can unlock the path to happiness. It's all about mastering our thoughts and making sure they line up with our values and dreams. Imagine your mind is like a garden. If you let it grow wild and untamed, weeds of negativity can take over, causing unhappiness and distress. But if you tend to your mental garden with care, nurturing positive thoughts and beliefs, you'll see your life bloom into something beautiful and meaningful. How do we master our thoughts? It takes practice and patience. Start by paying attention to the thoughts that pass through your mind. When you notice negative or unhelpful thoughts, gently guide them towards more positive and constructive ones. It's like training a muscle. The more you practice, the stronger you'll become. Aligning our thoughts with our ideals means living in harmony with our values and aspirations. When our thoughts and actions are in sync, we feel a sense of purpose and fulfillment that makes life truly meaningful. Guarding our hearts and minds against negativity is essential for our well-being. It's like building a fortress to protect ourselves from harm. By being diligent in this task, we can overcome suffering and find liberation, enlightenment, and peace. The mind plays a huge role in our lives. It shapes how we see the world and what happens to us. It can make us see things that aren't real or help us understand what's true. The mind is like a skilled weaver, creating our destiny with every thought. Our actions, whether good or bad, make up the fabric of our character. Our minds are powerful. We have the ability to choose our path and learn from our experiences. We're not stuck in one place like a trees. We make decisions that can either hold us back or set us free. We can become whatever we want, kind or cruel, smart or foolish. By practicing certain behaviors, we form habits, but we can also break them with effort. Have you ever felt like your mind was playing tricks on you? Sometimes it can make us believe things that aren't really true. But here's the thing, we also have the power to see through those illusions and discover the truth. Think of your mind as a powerful tool, a guide that can lead you to amazing places. You have incredible potential, and you have the freedom to shape your life in any way you choose. It's like being the captain of your own ship, charting a course through the vast ocean of possibilities. Your mind is always growing and changing, like a tree that constantly sprouts new branches. With each experience you have, you learn something new, and you use that knowledge to make adjustments along the way. It's a continuous journey of growth and discovery. But sometimes our minds can lead us astray. They can trick us into believing things that aren't real or holding on to beliefs that no longer serve us. That's when it's important to step back and take a closer look, to question our assumptions and seek out the truth. When we learn to see through the illusions created by our minds, we open ourselves up to a world of possibility. We become more resilient, more adaptable, and more capable of navigating life's twists and turns. And as we continue to evolve, we discover that our potential is truly endless. Our thoughts play a crucial role in shaping who we are and how we live our lives. Fortunately, we have the power to change our thoughts through our willpower and effort. Imagine your mind as a garden. Just as a gardener can cultivate different plants by choosing what to plant and nurture, we can shape our thoughts by consciously deciding what to focus on and cultivate. Habits, weaknesses, and mistakes are things that we create ourselves, and only we have the ability to get rid of them. While they may seem like they're connected to the world around us, they actually exist only in our minds. It's important to understand that what happens outside of us is influenced by what's inside, not the other way around. By changing our thoughts and mindset, we can create positive changes in our external environment and how we interact with the world. Imagine your mind as a powerful tool. It's like a steering wheel that guides your actions and feelings. When we let negative thoughts take control, it's like driving straight into a trap that leads to suffering. But when we learn to control our thoughts, we can steer clear of those traps and find peace instead. A disciplined mind is like a fortress. It's strong and resilient. It's filled with good intentions and wisdom, guiding us away from harmful desires and towards understanding and tranquility. Instead of getting caught up in negative emotions, a disciplined mind helps us see things clearly and respond with kindness and compassion. Have you ever noticed that when we blame others and complain about the world's problems, things don't seem to get any better? In fact, it often makes them worse. That's because what's going on outside of us is like a reflection of what's happening inside. Think of it this way. When we have good intentions and a positive mindset, the world around us seems brighter and more hopeful. It's like a natural law. Growth comes from within, while decay comes from focusing too much on what's outside of us. Instead of getting caught up in blame and negativity, we need to focus on improving ourselves. By working on our own minds and cultivating inner peace, we save energy and create a ripple effect of positivity that can spread to others. But here's the thing. Finding peace within doesn't mean trying to control others or bossing them around. It's about setting a good example and showing others what's possible when we prioritize inner growth and understanding. The path to enlightenment and peace starts with each of us. By guiding ourselves with kindness and compassion, we pave the way for a brighter, more harmonious world for everyone. So, let's focus on what we can control, our own thoughts, actions, and intentions, and watch as peace and understanding flourish both within us and around us. A person's life is shaped by their heart and mind. Think of your mind as a building and your thoughts and actions as the bricks and mortar that construct it. Every thought you have, every action you take adds to the structure of your mind, shaping who you are and the life you lead. But here's the amazing part. You have the power to change your mind. It's like being the architect of your own destiny. By choosing different thoughts and actions, you can tear down old walls and build new ones, creating a brighter future for yourself. It's not always easy to change your mind. It takes time, effort, and dedication. But with each new thought you choose, you're taking a step closer to the life you want to live. Now, every way of thinking we have is like a habit we've learned. We've practiced these habits until they became automatic. Whether it's feeling sad or happy, getting angry or staying calm, being selfish or generous, all these states of mind are habits we've formed through our choices. When we keep thinking the same thing over and over, it becomes a habit, and these habits shape our lives. Our minds naturally learn from repeating experiences. Do you ever feel like you want to change your life for the better? It might seem like a big task, but it's actually simpler than you think. It all starts with changing your habits. Habits are like the building blocks of our daily lives. They're the things we do without even thinking about them, like brushing our teeth or checking our phones. But sometimes, our habits can hold us back, especially if they're negative ones. The good news is that we have the power to change our habits, and by doing so, we can change our lives. It's like flipping a switch from negative to positive. So, how do we do it? It starts with awareness. Pay attention to the habits that aren't serving you well. Maybe it's spending too much time on social media or letting negative thoughts creep in. Once you've identified these habits, it's time to replace them with positive ones. Instead of scrolling through your phone before bed, try reading a book or practicing gratitude. Instead of letting negative thoughts take over, consciously choose to focus on the good things in your life. At first, it might feel challenging. But remember, every time you choose a positive habit over a negative one, you're building new pathways in your brain. And the more you repeat these positive actions, the stronger those pathways become, until eventually they become second nature. Before you know it, you'll have created a whole new set of habits that lead to a happier, more fulfilling life. So, if you're ready to make a change, start by changing your habits. Your future self will thank you for it. Have you ever noticed how when you do something over and over again, it starts to feel easier? It's like learning to ride a bike or play a new game. At first, it might seem hard, but with practice, it becomes second nature. Think of it like a boy learning a new job. At first, he might struggle to use the tools properly. He might make mistakes and feel frustrated. But as he practices and learns from his experiences, he becomes more skilled and confident. The same principle applies to our thoughts and attitudes. When we work on changing our mindset, it might feel challenging at first. We might have negative thoughts or attitudes that seem impossible to overcome. But if we keep practicing and working on them, they gradually become more natural to us. It's like planting seeds in a garden. At first, they're just tiny seeds buried in the soil. But with water, sunlight, and care, they start to grow and flourish. Similarly, when we nurture positive thoughts and attitudes, they begin to take root in our minds, growing stronger with each passing day. Our minds are powerful. Just like we can develop bad habits, we can also create good ones. Many people believe it's easier to do wrong than to do right. This idea has been around for a long time, and even respected figures like Buddha have talked about it. But it's not a permanent truth. It's just because many people don't know better. Have you ever watched a child learning to write? It's a fascinating process. At first, they might hold the pen incorrectly and struggle to form their letters. They make mistakes, and it seems like writing is really hard for them. But here's the thing. They're still learning. They haven't fully grasped how to write yet, so it's easy for them to do it wrong and hard to do it right. It's like trying to solve a puzzle without knowing all the pieces. However, with practice and effort, something amazing happens. They start to understand the correct way to hold the pen and form their letters. It's like a light bulb moment. They suddenly get it. As they keep practicing, writing becomes easier and more natural for them. They stop making as many mistakes, and soon enough they're writing without even thinking about it. It's like riding a bike or tying your shoes. It becomes second nature. And you can do it without even thinking. The same goes for thinking and acting in the right way. It takes practice and effort to develop positive habits. At first, it might feel challenging to choose the right thoughts and actions. You might have to remind yourself to be kind or to stay calm in difficult situations. But as you keep practicing, something amazing happens. Thinking and acting in the right way start to feel natural and easy. It's like a switch flips in your mind, and doing the right thing becomes the only option. Suddenly, doing something wrong just doesn't make sense anymore. Think of it like someone becoming really good at their job through practice. In the same way, a person can become really good at being good through practice. It's all about forming new habits of thinking. Have you ever met someone who seems to always think and act in the right way? They're kind, compassionate, and always seem to make the best choices. It's like they're operating on a higher level of goodness. When someone reaches this level of goodness, it's like they've climbed to the peak of a mountain of spiritual understanding. They see the world with clarity and compassion, and doing something wrong just doesn't make sense to them. But reaching this peak isn't easy. It takes time, effort, and a lot of self-reflection. It's like climbing a mountain. There are obstacles to overcome, and sometimes it feels like you'll never reach the top. But with determination and perseverance, it's possible to reach that summit of goodness. Once you reach this peak, something amazing happens. Thinking and acting in the right way becomes second nature. It's like a light shining from within, guiding you towards the best possible choices. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to find it easier to do wrong things? It's because they've gotten used to it. Think of it like this. Imagine a person who has spent a long time thinking about stealing. Maybe they've seen others do it. Or maybe they've been tempted by the idea of getting something for nothing. Over time, those thoughts become like a well-worn path in their mind. So when the opportunity arises, it's hard for them to resist the urge to steal. On the other hand, consider someone who has always been honest and upright. They've never even considered stealing because it goes against everything they believe in. Their mind is like a garden filled with flowers of honesty and integrity. Stealing simply doesn't cross their mind because they've trained themselves to think differently. It's like two roads diverging in a wood. One road leads to doing wrong things, while the other leads to doing what's right. The more someone travels down the wrong road, the harder it becomes to find their way back to the right one. But with determination and effort, it's possible to change course and start down a new path. Now, habits are formed using the example of stealing. Although stealing is a serious wrongdoing, the process of forming habits applies to all actions, good or bad. Have you ever noticed how easy it can be to get angry or impatient? It's like a reflex. We react without even thinking. But have you ever stopped to wonder why that happens? It's because we've gotten used to it. Each time we give in to anger or impatience, it strengthens the habit. It's like a snowball rolling down a hill. It starts small, but it gets bigger and faster with each roll. Think of it this way. Imagine a person who often gets angry. Maybe they've had a bad day at work, or maybe they're feeling stressed. When something goes wrong, they immediately react with anger, and the more they do it, the stronger that habit becomes. The same goes for impatience. Maybe someone is always in a hurry, rushing from one thing to the next. Each time they lose patience, it reinforces the habit, making it even harder to break. But here's the good news. Habits can be changed. It takes time and effort, but it's possible to break free from the cycle of anger and impatience. It starts with awareness, recognizing when we're starting to feel angry or impatient and taking a step back before reacting. On the other hand, being calm and patient can also become habits. It starts with making an effort to think calmly and be patient, then practicing it consistently until it becomes natural. Eventually, being calm and patient becomes second nature, and feelings of anger and impatience fade away. Have you ever wanted to break free from a bad habit or wrongdoing? Whether it's telling lies, gossiping, or any other wrongdoing, there's hope. It's all about replacing wrong thoughts and actions with the right ones through consistent effort and practice. It starts with awareness, recognizing when you're tempted to engage in wrongdoing and making a conscious choice to do what's right instead. It's like planting seeds of goodness in your mind and heart, nurturing them with every thought and action. Then, it's about consistent effort and practice. Each time you choose to do what's right instead of giving in to temptation, you're watering those seeds of goodness, helping them grow stronger. Over time, something remarkable happens. The wrong thoughts and actions start to lose their power over you, and the right ones become second nature. It's like replacing an old, worn-out habit with a new, healthier one. Understanding how our actions and thoughts shape our lives is key to gaining control over them. Imagine a person realizing that their entire life stems from their mind, which is made up of habits. By patiently working to change these habits, they can gain full control over their mind. This realization is like finding the key to unlock complete freedom. Breaking free from life's challenges isn't something that happens overnight. It's like climbing a mountain, one step at a time, one day at a time. Think of it like this. Imagine you're a sculptor and your mind is a block of marble. Every day you chip away at the marble, shaping it into something beautiful. It takes time and patience, but with each stroke of the chisel you get closer to creating a masterpiece. Similarly, breaking free from life's challenges is a gradual process of inner growth. It's about training your mind to think positively and respond calmly to situations that typically trigger negative emotions. Just like a sculptor refines their sculpture until it reflects their vision, you must continuously shape your mind until it reflects your highest aspirations. It's about being intentional with your thoughts and actions, and being willing to put in the work to create the life you want. When aiming for great achievements, it's important to start from the basics and gradually progress to more challenging tasks. This principle of growth and progress applies to every aspect of life and every skill we aim to develop. If we overlook this principle, we're likely to fail. Think about how we learn new things, whether it's gaining knowledge in school, mastering a skill like playing an instrument or running a business. We know the importance of starting small and steadily improving over time. But when it comes to becoming better people, understanding the truth, and living a righteous life, many of us overlook this principle. We expect instant results or dramatic changes without putting in the effort to grow gradually. Just like building a house, we need a strong foundation to support our growth as individuals. It's about starting with small steps like being kind to others, practicing honesty, or seeking understanding in challenging situations. Each small step we take is like a brick in the foundation of our character. Over time, these small actions add up, helping us become better people and live more meaningful lives. As a result, virtues like honesty, truthfulness, and living a fulfilling life remain unpracticed and unfamiliar to many. To truly excel in these areas, we need to recognize the significance of gradual progress and apply it to our personal growth journey. It's common for people to think that living a better life is just about reading and adopting religious or philosophical ideas. They believe that by understanding these ideas, they can unlock spiritual truths. But the reality is quite different. Living a better life isn't just about what we know. It's about how we live. It's about improving how we think, speak, and act in our everyday lives. It's like putting theory into practice. To truly understand spiritual principles that exist within us and the world, we need to do more than just read about them. We need to actively practice virtues like kindness, honesty, compassion, and forgiveness. Think of it like this. Imagine you want to become a better musician. Reading about music theory can only take you so far. To truly excel, you need to practice playing your instrument every day, honing your skills and refining your technique. Similarly, to understand spiritual principles and live a better life, we need to spend time practicing virtues. It's not always easy, and it takes effort and dedication. But with each act of kindness, each moment of forgiveness, we come closer to embodying the spiritual truths that guide us. Before we can dive into the deeper waters of spiritual truths, we must first learn to swim in the shallows. It's like building a house. We start with a strong foundation before adding the walls and roof. In the same way, before we can understand the bigger spiritual truths, we must first fully understand the smaller ones. This means we need to practice being good people before we can grasp deeper spiritual knowledge. It's like climbing a ladder. We take one step at a time, building on our progress as we go. In other words, we need to walk the walk before we can truly understand what we're talking about. It's like speaking a language. We start with simple words and phrases before we can hold a conversation. Imagine a teacher trying to teach students advanced math right from the start. It wouldn't work. Instead, the teacher starts with simple math problems. Once the students understand those, they move on to harder ones. With each success and effort, they learn more. Only after years of practice do they learn the deeper principles behind the math they've been doing. When someone is learning a trade, like becoming a mechanic, they don't start by learning all the complicated theories. Instead, they begin with a basic tool and are shown how to use it properly. Then, they practice using it on simple tasks. As they get better, they're given more challenging jobs to do. Similarly, a mechanic learns by doing. After years of practicing with different tools and tasks, they're ready to understand the deeper principles behind their work. In a well-run home, children are taught to obey and behave properly before they're taught why it's important. They're given clear instructions on how to behave, and they're expected to follow them without always understanding the reasons behind them. Only after they consistently do what's right are they told why it matters. Just like a parent wouldn't try to explain complex moral ideas to a young child before teaching them basic manners in life, we often learn through practice before we fully understand the reasons behind our actions. This applies both to everyday tasks and spiritual matters. Before we can fully understand why being virtuous is important, we must first practice living virtuously. We don't start by mastering complex pieces. We start by practicing scales and basic techniques. Similarly, in life we practice virtues like kindness, honesty, and compassion before we fully grasp their importance. It's through our actions that we come to know what's right and true. Just as a child learns to ride a bike by actually riding it, we learn to live virtuously by actually living virtuously. Becoming truly wise and understanding the truth means practicing virtue every day. It's like going to school. You start with easy lessons and work your way up to harder ones. Just as a student learns patiently and obediently, tackling challenges until they conquer them, so does someone seeking truth. As you become more virtuous, you also become wiser. Each act of goodness brings you closer to understanding the truth, and once you've learned it, you can trust in it completely. Before walking on the journey to understanding deeper truths, it's important to master the basics of virtue. You can't reach the top without first stepping on the lower rungs. Similarly, to grasp the big ideas, we need to first excel in smaller acts of goodness. This lays a strong foundation for our journey towards higher knowledge and wisdom. So, how does someone start on the path to truth and inner growth? How can someone who wants to clear their mind and cleanse their heart, which holds everything important, learn about being good and become wise, getting rid of ignorance and life's problems? What are the initial lessons? How do they learn them? How do they put them into action, become really good at them, and truly understand their significance? These are the questions we must explore to begin this journey. Success is often associated with leaving behind common distractions and vices. Those who truly succeed are the ones who can control their impulses and stay focused on their goals. This journey requires strength of both body and mind, along with a commitment to honesty and virtue. While this article won't cover all the steps to living a virtuous life, it will explore some important mental states that contribute to overall well-being. These insights can be particularly helpful for those who are curious about diving deeper into their emotions and thoughts. To achieve success, it's crucial to let go of small distractions. These can come in many forms, such as procrastination, excessive use of technology, or unhealthy habits. By freeing ourselves from these distractions, we create space for more meaningful pursuits. Furthermore, success is closely tied to self-control. This means being able to resist temptations and stay focused on long-term goals. By mastering our impulses, we can make better decisions and ultimately achieve greater success. Honesty and virtue are also essential ingredients for success. Being truthful with ourselves and others builds trust and credibility, which are crucial in any endeavor. Moreover, living a virtuous life brings inner peace and fulfillment. Sin is like being in the dark, not knowing what's right or wrong. It's similar to being in school but not understanding the lessons. Just as students need to learn how to think and act properly to succeed, we too need to learn how to live according to what's right. When we don't follow what's right, it's like doing our lessons wrong in school. And just like a student who struggles in school isn't happy, we can't truly be happy if we keep doing wrong things. Life is like a big school where we learn important lessons. Some people work hard to learn these lessons and become wise and happy. However, others don't try hard enough, and they remain unhappy and make mistakes. Being unhappy usually stems from not having the right mindset, while happiness comes from having a clear and positive mindset. When our minds are filled with wrong thoughts, it often leads to making wrong choices and feeling unhappy. Feeling unhappy usually happens because we don't understand things properly, but feeling joyful comes from being enlightened and knowing the truth. To truly find peace and freedom, we need to get rid of our ignorance and mistaken beliefs. When our minds are filled with negativity and confusion, it's like being trapped and feeling unsettled. But when we have clear and positive thoughts, we feel free and peaceful. Imagine your mind is like a room. If that room is cluttered with negative thoughts and confusion, it's hard to move around and feel comfortable. But if you clear out the clutter and let in the light of truth, suddenly everything becomes clearer and more peaceful. As we journey through life, our thoughts play a big role in shaping our experiences and the world around us. When we think positively, it can lead to fulfillment and happiness. But when negative thoughts take over, they can harm our well-being and relationships. Understanding these harmful mental conditions is key to personal growth and living a fulfilling life. Positive thinking is like sunshine on a cloudy day. It brightens everything around us. It helps us see opportunities instead of obstacles, and it brings joy into our lives. When we focus on the good things, we attract positivity and create a harmonious environment. On the other hand, negative thoughts are like dark clouds that block the sun. They can make us feel down, anxious, and unhappy. They also affect how we interact with others, leading to strained relationships and misunderstandings. Recognizing the power of our thoughts is the first step toward change. By becoming aware of negative thought patterns, we can challenge them and replace them with positive ones. This shift in mindset can have a profound impact on our lives, leading to greater happiness and fulfillment. The right conditions of the mind mentioned above are like sources of positive energy, brightness, happiness, and understanding. A good person possesses these qualities. They have learned from life's lessons and understand the right balance that makes life complete. They are wise and can distinguish between good and bad. By following what is morally correct, they find ultimate happiness and fulfillment. Imagine a garden where flowers bloom and the sun shines brightly. This is like the mind of a good person, filled with positivity and happiness. They radiate joy and understanding, making the world around them brighter. A good person isn't just born that way. They learn and grow from life's experiences. They understand the importance of balance and harmony in life. Like a skilled gardener, they nurture their mind and cultivate positive qualities. Wisdom is another trait of a good person. They can see beyond the surface and understand the deeper truths of life. This wisdom helps them distinguish between right and wrong, guiding their actions and decisions. When someone gets trapped in the wrong mental states, they struggle to understand things clearly. They're unsure about what's right or wrong, both within themselves and in their lives. This confusion leads to unhappiness, and they often blame others entirely for their misery. They move through life without a clear direction, feeling lost and living in a state of confusion. Imagine being in a dark room without any light to guide you. This is how it feels for someone caught up in the wrong mental states. They can't find their way forward. Without clarity, they fail to see any meaning in life or any sense of order in how things happen. It's like trying to navigate through a maze blindfolded. They're unable to see the path ahead. But there is hope. With awareness and the right support, it's possible to break free from these wrong mental states. By seeking understanding and taking responsibility for their thoughts and actions, they can start to find their way out of the darkness. It's important to remember that everyone faces challenges, but it's how we respond to them that matters. By taking control of their thoughts and emotions, they can begin to create a brighter path for themselves, one filled with clarity, purpose, and meaning. If someone wants to live a better life and understand the true meaning of life, they should let go of negative feelings and keep doing good things. When they feel bad or unsure, they should take time to figure out why and find ways to fix it. By focusing on making their heart better every day, doing less bad stuff and more good stuff, they can gradually improve themselves. Imagine your heart is like a garden. If you want beautiful flowers to grow, you need to remove the weeds. Similarly, to live a better life, it's important to let go of negativity and cultivate positive thoughts and actions. Each day, strive to do at least one good thing for yourself or others. It could be as simple as helping someone in need or practicing gratitude for the good things in your life. These small acts of kindness will not only make you feel happier, but also strengthen your character and make you a better person. As you focus on doing good and letting go of negativity, you'll notice positive changes in yourself. You'll become stronger, better, and smarter each day. Happiness will become a natural part of your life, and the true meaning of life will become clearer to you. Listen up. Everyone who loves truth, goodness, and wisdom, and even those feeling sad or lost, realizing that living just for yourself doesn't bring real happiness. If you want a truly beautiful and peaceful life, it's time to take control, start being disciplined, and discover a better way to live. Imagine standing at the foot of a mountain, looking up at its peak. That's where truth and happiness lie, but the journey to reach them won't be easy. It's like climbing that mountain. You've got to work hard and take each step with determination. Many of us deceive ourselves into thinking that chasing selfish desires will lead to happiness. But deep down, we know that true fulfillment comes from living a life of purpose and integrity. It's time to stop fooling ourselves and start looking at ourselves honestly. Being good isn't always easy, and sometimes the journey might seem tough. But every step you take towards truth and goodness is important. Each challenge you overcome brings you closer to the reward at the end, a life filled with beauty, peace, and happiness. To start your day right, it's important to wake up early and spend time in quiet thought. This helps you begin with a strong body and a clear mind, ready to face any challenges without giving in to temptation. Imagine your mind is like a calm pond at dawn. As you sit quietly, the ripples of distraction fade away, leaving behind clarity and focus. Just as a warrior prepares for battle, you need to be mentally strong and alert to navigate the challenges of the day. Taking time to quiet your mind is essential for seeing things clearly and understanding them better. When you have a good understanding of what's right, bad thoughts and temptations fade away. But gaining this understanding requires practicing self-discipline. It's not always easy, but with persistence it becomes easier over time. As you strengthen your discipline, you also cultivate patience, a powerful and beautiful quality that enhances your self-control. For someone who can't wait and loves themselves too much, following rules and being disciplined feels annoying. So they ignore it and keep living without much order or understanding. But for someone who loves truth, discipline isn't annoying at all. They have a lot of patience and can wait and work hard to get what they want. Imagine a gardener tending to their plants with care and patience. Each day they watch as their flowers grow a little bit more, bringing joy and satisfaction. Similarly, someone who's disciplined feels joyful witnessing good qualities like purity, wisdom, kindness, and love growing inside them. Discipline isn't about restricting yourself, it's about nurturing and cultivating positive qualities within. Just as a gardener tends to their garden with patience and dedication, so too must we tend to our inner selves with discipline and mindfulness. Living without rules can lead to constant sadness and hurt. When your mind lacks discipline, you're defenseless against strong emotions that come your way. But if you value truth, you must prepare your mind well. Stay alert, think carefully, and be determined. Imagine your mind is like a fortress. Without discipline, it's vulnerable to attacks from negative thoughts and emotions. But by strengthening your mind through discipline, you build a powerful defense against these intruders. Improvement starts with readiness and hard work. Even if you fail many times, don't give up. Keep trying, keep focusing on your goal. With perseverance, you'll find success if you stick to the right path. The journey may be tough, filled with struggles and challenges, but if you keep going, you'll reach a beautiful life full of peace and quiet. Just like a traveler who endures a difficult journey to reach a serene destination, your efforts will lead you to a place of inner tranquility and fulfillment. So embrace discipline, stay determined, and keep moving forward. Your path to a better life starts with the rules you set for yourself. Thank you for listening.